Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today, entitled Mom Tells Me That Because Her Kid Likes My Car, It Belongs to Him. After that, Bad Dad Lets His Kid Wreck Displays at the Dollar Store. After that, Thinking Outside the Box by Leaving Them Outside. And then we'll be wrapping up with Caution. This story will make you hungry. You'll find timestamps to each of these stories pinned in the comments below. And if you're new, please subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Entitled Mom Tells Me That Because Her Kid Likes My Car, It Belongs to Him. This happened a couple of months ago, but I figured I should share. So for a little backstory, I had just gotten a new job and I decided to reward myself with a new car. I enjoy cars just about as much as anybody, and so I chose a brand new Volkswagen Golf GTI. My neighbors had moved in relatively recently, but I hadn't really came in contact with them. Our cast. We've got me, we've got Entitled Mom, and Entitled Kid. Now for the story. So I just got home from work. I go inside and change out of my work clothes because I don't really feel like wearing a suit after hours. I go back downstairs and get on my computer to look at the news. A quick glance out the window shows me the door of my car is wide open. I usually don't lock my car until I go to bed, but that has now changed because of this happening. So I rush outside to see what the deal is, and I see Entitled Kid playing inside my car. I try to ask him in a kind tone, "Excuse me, what are you doing in my car?"
"I'm playing, and this is my car."
"I'm sorry, what makes you think that?"
"Because I like it."
"Well, where are your parents?" Entitled Kid points to neighbor's house. "Okay, can you bring them over here?" Entitled Kid runs home. A couple minutes later, he comes back with a woman about a foot shorter than me. I'm 6'2", and obviously pretty young. Entitled Mom.
"Why did you threaten my son?"
Me, trying to stay calm. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I did not threaten your son, but he was in my car, and I asked as nicely as I could for him to get out."
"Well, clearly you aren't a nice person because you threatened him."
Again, I did not threaten your son. He believes that my car that I bought with my money belongs to him.
And?
And?
If he likes it, why can't he have it?
Because it costs over $28,000.
That's not that much.
She drives a Mercedes GLS. I have worked very hard for this car, and just because it isn't as expensive as your car doesn't mean I can just give it away to a 6-year-old.
Well, you still threatened my son.
I'm sorry, but I did not.
I will call the police if you don't let my son have that car.
You can do that, but it won't help you.
Then give me the car.
At this point, I just go inside and lock my car because I can't deal with the stupidity. After about a minute, I see Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid walking away. So hopefully, that is the end of that. Next we've got Bad Dad Lets His Kid Wreck Displays at the Dollar Store. I had my first shift in probably weeks today because someone else called in sick and I was the only person to answer their phone. It wasn't too bad. I didn't mind. I had a pretty awful week, and having to be retail happy made me actually happy. Several of my favorite coworkers working today helped with that too. So it's almost Easter. Story time. The holiday aisle is 1/3 empty, and it's just destroyed when I walk in. There were a whole bunch of extra people in today for whatever reason, so everyone who wasn't on cash was cleaning and facing. I took the Easter aisle because I wanted to see what was there. There's small kids in my family. If I can get some tips over to the old EB on cheap chocolate, I will. I spent a solid 2 hours cleaning and running stuff back, a lot of which had nowhere to go because it was the last item of its type. Okay, totally good. It's decent and looks presentable. Go help out at cash for half an hour, Have some more returns from customers needing 3 of the same bunny basket to keep the little ones happy and all. And a few more last one things to find homes for. I go back and do that, straighten up the candy some more as it's ransacked. I'm doing my minimum wage thing. Guy comes in with his spawn. They're looking up and down the meager Easter offerings left. One kid takes off way down to where the summer stuff is trickling in, while the other is touching every basket. Dad sort of meanders through, looking at stuff and making a few comments. Literally 5 seconds after they get in the aisle, the little girl has knocked 5 baskets on the floor. I am standing less than 5 feet away. Dad is right beside her, saying nothing. Son is messing around with stickers about mid-aisle. Son and daughter go racing behind me as I'm putting more stuff back up and go dodging around these baskets I'm trying to pick up and starts yanking down all of the bunny ear headbands. Like a good quarter of all those headbands come down and make it to the floor and the candy shelf below. And again, I am standing right there with my apron and blatantly putting stuff away. And Dad does nothing, says nothing. Kids give no hoots. I just literally stood there so dumbfounded. I put the basket down and walked away. I could not believe this blatant piggy behavior happening right beside me. I went a few aisles over until I saw them move somewhere else before going back to fix it all. Literally, what the heck? If I had been feeling a little snappier and quick-witted, I would have said something. Heck, if I hadn't been coming from about a solid week of moping around and wondering if I'd been fired, I would have said something. Christmas wasn't even this bad. I swear, everyone up here is stir-crazy because of the awful winter ending, and they go and take out all that energy being a disaster in my dang store. Next we've got Thinking Outside the Box by Leaving Them Outside. I work at an entertainment facility that often hosts kids' birthday parties. We offer party rooms and activities, but we do not provide childcare and never have. Whenever a customer makes a reservation, it's clearly stated on the form they sign that kids under 13 must be accompanied by at least one adult at all times. One Friday afternoon, when we are slammed with customers, a mother comes up to me in our lobby area with her son, who's about 9 or 10. Entitled Mom.
We're here for the birthday party.
Me. Welcome. That's great. That party actually starts in about 1 hour. So?
Oh, I know. I still have to go pick up my daughter, so I'll leave my son here for now.
I gesture to our lobby, which is open to the public and currently full of people coming and going every which way, trying to help her notice. When that doesn't work, I try to think of the most professional way to make this woman realize that she would be crazy to leave her son there alone. Oh, I'm sorry, but all of our employees are busy helping other customers right now. There would be no one available to watch your son.
Oh, that's fine.
Me, thinking she finally came to her senses.
He doesn't need watching.
Me, shocked, and wondering how I can make this more obvious without offending her. Well, it's really up to your discretion, ma'am, but we are not certified to provide childcare, and none of us are trained to mother angrily.
You don't get it. You don't have to do anything. I'll just leave him here and he'll be fine.
Me. Ultimately, the decision is yours, but we care very much about everyone's safety at our company, and I just don't feel it would be a good idea.
Ugh, fine.
She grabs her embarrassed son by the hand and literally drags him out the door. Thinking the problem has been resolved, I go back to helping our many other customers until my coworker arrives for the start of her shift about 20 minutes later. Keep in mind, it is January and literally freezing outside. Coworker. Hey, did you know there's a boy standing in front of our building?
What?
Oh no. Yeah, I just let him borrow my phone because he wanted to call his mom and ask her why she hadn't come back yet. Oh my gosh. Is he okay? Yeah, I asked him if he wanted to come and wait inside, and he said he wasn't allowed to. What's going on? What should I do? You're not going to believe this. I tell her the story. So I guess when I told the mom she shouldn't leave her son inside, she took me literally and left him outside. My coworker kept an eye on him and made sure he was okay, despite our being short-staffed and not technically allowed to watch other people's kids. His mom finally came back, another 30 minutes later. She glared daggers at all of us and continued to shoot us dirty looks all afternoon every time we had to walk past where she was sitting. Fortunately, the boy did have a fun time at his friend's birthday party. I hope things got better for him. Since then, we have put up more signs to notify customers that adult supervision is required at all times. Next, we've got caution. This story will make you hungry. At this time, I am 15 years old, and my family is preparing to spend the weekend in the Santa Clara area, coming from El Dorado, for a father and daughter's joint bar mitzvah. As usual, I wake up early and am showered and dressed before anyone else. My mom comes out of her room while I'm getting a box of cereal out to have breakfast. It's before 8 a.m. Mom, don't eat. We're going to stop for breakfast before we head out of town. I like the idea of getting a Belgian waffle more than eating cold cereal. Me, okay, sure. However, it takes my family a long time to get ready. My mother and sister particularly enjoy lingering in the shower for quite a while. I end up going to my room and switching on my PS2 for a while. Finally, we leave after 10:15. I notice that when we drive into town, we immediately get onto the highway. Me, wait, weren't we going to stop for breakfast? Mom, oh, no way. We left way too late for that. Besides, your sister and your father already ate something. Me, well, you could have said something so I didn't have to go hungry. Sorry. Obviously doesn't care that much. We'll stop for something around lunchtime. It's out of my control, so I try to distract myself from the hunger pains for the next couple of hours until it is past noon. Me, hey, are we going to stop for lunch anytime soon? Sister, I'm not hungry. Mom, neither am I. If we stopped for lunch, it would just be for you. I'm fine with that. Dad, we can just go through a drive-thru for him. Mom, I want to make sure we get checked into the hotel so we don't have to rush to the ceremony. So let's just head straight to the hotel. No amount of complaining or compromising makes a difference. It doesn't matter that we will be at the hotel in an hour and the ceremony won't happen for another 3 hours after that. My mom is dead set against stopping for lunch. We arrive at the hotel and get checked in with plenty of time before the ceremony. Far more time than what would have been necessary to get a meal. It's around 1:30 by this time, and I still haven't eaten. Me, how about I order mini pizza from room service? Mom, no way. The ceremony is in a few hours, and they are serving dinner. You can wait until then. That's still hours away, and I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. Dad, honey, we can let him order something small from room service. Mom, as if we are making an absurdly ridiculous request. No, we are not ordering him room service. They are serving prime rib for dinner, and he's not going to eat it if he has food now. No food for me. The ceremony starts at 4 p.m., but it's at a synagogue. Dinner isn't until later at the reception. I sit through the ceremony while listening to my stomach trying to digest itself. We are dismissed back to the hotel before the reception, and we get to the hall by 7 p.m. and dinner is served. For some reason, my family isn't seated together. My parents are with their friends. My sister is with the daughter being bar mitzvahed and her friends, and I'm with some adults I've never met before. Of course, I'm at one of the last tables served dinner. I see the other tables digging into their prime rib and green beans. Finally, my table gets our turn, and the waitress plops down in front of me, the fattest slice of beef I've ever seen. There are hardly any traces of meat visible. Me, excuse me, this is basically a lump of fat. Could I get another piece? Waitress, sorry, this is all that we have. We made the exact number of plates that there are guests. Rushes away before I can say anything else. so I eat my green beans and pick out what little pieces of meat I can find, while the other people at the table jokingly keep asking me if I'm enjoying my prime fat. Later, dessert is served, and of course, they run out of chocolate cake before they get to me, so I don't get any dessert either. Later, after the reception, Mom,
I bet you feel better now that you finally got some food.
me, not really. The meat I got was almost all fat, so I didn't eat anything besides my green beans. Mom,
Seriously? You should have told us or our friends. They would have gotten you a better piece.
they said they were all out. Anyway, can I please order room service now?
Sorry, the kitchen is closed by now. You'll have to wait for breakfast.
Nothing else to do but go to bed hungry. We wake up on Sunday morning and I get showered and dressed before everyone else because I'm in a hurry to finally get my first proper meal since Friday night. Me, I'm starving. Can I go downstairs and get breakfast while you guys get ready? Mom,
No, you can't. You will wait for us so we can eat as a family.
and wait I do. Yet again, for more than 2 hours, while they take their time to have some coffee, take long showers, get dressed, and apply makeup. Then, I have to wait until my mom and aunt make sure my grandparents, staying in another room in the hotel, are up and ready to go. Eventually, we make our way downstairs together. Most of the family elects to go to the breakfast buffet to get breakfast quickly. I decide to order a Belgian waffle. It takes a long time to get here. My grandparents have already received and finished their eggs and toast, and the rest of them have had a couple of rounds at the buffet. Mom,
I told you that you should have gone to the buffet.
me, I would have if I had known they were going to take so long. My waffle does eventually come out. I pour on some syrup and cut into it, only for waffle batter to pour out like a lava flow. Me, incredibly frustrated and hungry. My waffle is completely raw. My parents are in hysterics, laughing at how hard a time I've been having finding food this weekend. I send back the waffle and tell them I just want to eat at the buffet. I took my plate and got my first helping of random breakfast foods available and start scarfing down. I get back up to get my next course, happy to finally be able to eat a full meal. Mom,
That's enough. Everyone else is done eating and they don't want to wait for you.
me, my frustration starts rising again. No way! I'll be done when I'm done. Dad, honey, just let him eat. Mom chuckles as she again remembers what a miserable time I've been having. All right, all right. I went back to the buffet and had a total of 4 plates. And our final story of the day. Father picks up my dog and tries to take her. I know there's a lot of these entitled parent tries to take my dog stories, and I have no idea why this is such a thing. But it happened to me too, so I wanted to share my version. We've got me, we've got my dear husband, we've got entitled father and kid. There's a local park that my husband and I like to take our dog to on the weekends. We're actually quite friendly with most of the people there because a lot of them are there every weekend like us. My dog likes people and likes other dogs, so she always has a super good time. She's not very good with kids though, and we assume it's because she's not used to them. We are child-free. Anyway, this was a few months ago. We were at the dog park like usual, and my girl was romping around. After a little while, I noticed a man and his son that I had never seen before in the park. It's an enclosed park, so you can let your dogs off the leash, so they definitely came in on purpose. They didn't have a dog with them that I could see, but I figured maybe their dog was just running around somewhere. I also noticed that they seemed to be going up to people in the park and talking to each of them, but I figured they were just making conversation and didn't think much of it. After a few minutes, they got over to my husband and me. After a few pleasantries, the father started with his pitch. Entitled Father. The reason we stopped by is Kid here, I can't remember what the boy's name was, wants a dog, and we promised to get him one for his birthday, so we thought we'd come talk to the dog owners and see what breeds they recommend. Me. Oh, okay. I thought this was a weird thing to do, because you can just Google it, but whatever. Meanwhile, my husband is throwing the tennis ball with our dog behind me and not paying much attention. Entitled Kid.
I like that one, Daddy.
Pointing at our dog.
Is that your dog?
Yup. I won't write everything out, but at this point, he starts to ask me questions like how old she is she healthy, how much does she eat, does she behave, etc. I answered his questions because I thought he was just going to look for a similar dog or the same breed. Also, my husband is still oblivious behind us.
Well, she couldn't have cost you much. Would you take, say, $20 for her?
I don't say anything. At this point, my husband kind of hears our conversation and comes over. Husband.
Sorry, our dog isn't for sale. But come on, you've seen how much my kid likes her. Don't you guys want her out of your way so you can start having kids of your own?
My head really wants to explode at that comment, but I don't even bother telling him we're child-free because that's none of his business. Me. The answer is no. I suggest you go to a shelter. There are plenty of dogs waiting for a home there.
Well, fine. Have it your way.
I will, because it's my dog. Kid.
Daddy, can I at least play with the puppy before I leave?
Entitled Dad looks at us. My husband and I are a little hesitant because, like we said, our dog is not that used to kids, and we just know this dad is the type to sue if anything goes wrong. But our dog was kind of hanging around and sniffing at the kid, but she still looked calm and happy. And since they seemed to back down, we didn't want to punish the kid because the dad was being an entitled jerk. Me. Just for a few minutes. So husband gave the kid our tennis ball and they started playing. It was fine for a few minutes, and husband and I went to sit on a bench, but we kept an eye on them. We kind of talked for a bit about how weird the dad was before my husband suddenly stops mid-sentence. Husband. What's he doing? I look over, and the dad has picked our dog up and is walking towards the exit of the dog park. Me. No way. We immediately get up and head over, and husband tells the man to put the dog down. Luckily, he does. He was clearly hoping to sneak out of the park before we noticed, and she goes bouncing away happy as can be. Husband tells the man to not ever touch our dog again. I wish I could explain to you how furious my husband looked. It takes a lot for him to get angry, but our dog is his baby. He's the one who wanted her. I was hesitant at first, though I wouldn't trade her for anything now. He's also the one who primarily raised and trained her. I work a lot, and his schedule is more flexible than mine. Luckily, it didn't come to any major scuffle where we had to call the police or anything. The dad just muttered something about us being selfish. Yeah, because not just giving you our dog is us being selfish. The logic of entitled people. And then they left the park. The kid looked disappointed, but he didn't say much. I don't have much blame for the kid in this scenario. I think he just genuinely wanted a dog, and his dad decided to go about it the most entitled and jerkiest way possible. I've not seen them back at the park since, but I have talked to a few other regulars from there, and they all said yes. The dad did ask them if they'd be willing to sell their dog for $20. Of course, they said no. Also, I've had a few people tell me that we should have reported him or something. I realized that in hindsight, but at the time I was surprised by the dad's behavior. I never thought he would actually pick her up and try to steal her. I know, I give people too much credit sometimes. And my husband and I were both a little shaken up, because what if we hadn't seen him in time and she was just gone? I never did see him again though, but if I did, I would have reported him or got his license plate number or something. And shout out to our re-generals of the day, Luca, Young Ruckus, and Ty Berry. Become tomorrow's re-generals by leaving as many re's as you can in the comments below.